Chosen one, don't watch this unless you're ready. Emergency situation. This message isn't just a warning, it's a turning point. Something massive has shifted in the spiritual realm, and it has now begun to shake the very foundation of the physical world. Only those who are prepared will recognize what is unfolding. Only those who are chosen will understand the urgency of this hour. You are not here by accident. You didn't find this video. It was sent to you because a divine appointment has arrived. Your spirit is being summoned. Your role is being activated. And the heavens are signaling that your preparedness will determine everything. Watch this video until the very end. There is energy here that has been stirred. This is more than words. It's an ignition point for the chosen. And in the comments, write your warmest wishes and write Amen along with the number 99. This moment is a space for divine release and manifestation. As you write, you energize the universe, aligning yourself with the miraculous unfolding that is already in motion. Now, chosen one, press the hype button and like this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. What you're about to experience is not for the faint of heart. This is not a message that will comfort illusions. This is for the awakened. This is for the soul that has been prepared through fire, through loss, through silence, through the hidden chambers of patience and endurance. A veil has been ripped. Something sacred has entered this realm. The alert you're receiving now is not coming from man. It's coming from God. And He chose you to receive it because something needs to be unlocked within you. Something vital to what's coming next. The truth is, a divine emergency is unfolding, not because of fear, but because of acceleration. You're being hurried into your destiny. The pace is shifting. Time is compressing. What took years before will happen in weeks. What you thought was far off is now near. God is not delaying anymore. What was held back is being released. But here's the divine key. It's not coming gently. It's arriving like a wave that crashes, like thunder that wakes the slumbering world. And it will only recognize those who are spiritually alert. You've likely already felt it. The strange awareness, the sudden urgency, the feeling that something is off in the air. It's not your imagination. God has been whispering to you through everything, through people, through time, through unexpected setbacks and miraculous escapes. The reason it's felt heavy is because what's coming is weighty. It's not ordinary, it's legendary, and that's why this moment was hidden from the masses and revealed only to the awakened ones. That includes you. Everything around you might look the same, but it is not. The atmosphere has changed, and the system around you, the worldly matrix, has already started to collapse. Not with loud announcements, but with quiet cracks. The system knows something divine has entered and it is panicking. But you are not here to panic. You are here to position. The collapse was prophesied, but so was your rise. God isn't sending this warning to frighten you. He's sending it to remind you that you were never meant to blend into this world. You were born to walk above it. You were never created to be average. The very reason your life felt difficult, out of place, misunderstood, is because you were born for a timeline that just activated. You've walked through shadows, you've survived storms, and now the hour has come for the glory to be revealed. God has decided that the hidden one must now be revealed. But there is one condition: readiness. Not in appearance, not in public display, but in heart, in alignment, in complete inner surrender to what's happening. The emergency is spiritual. but its effects will manifest in real-world events. You'll see systems glitch. You'll see sudden changes in finances, weather, decisions, and relationships. You'll watch as those who ignored spiritual truths begin to falter. But you'll also see the rising of the hidden ones, the elevation of the unlikely, the funding of the faithful. God is moving his pieces, and you are one of them. You were hidden in silence, so you could be revealed in power. This is that moment. And so this message isn't a coincidence. It's a divine signal. Something about your destiny required you to receive this now. Not before, not later, now. Because the portal is open, and only the ones who are ready will walk through it. The time for delay is over. The time for questioning your worth is over. The time for fear has expired. There is no more waiting for a perfect moment. The perfect moment is this one, the holy now, the sacred today. And that is why you were led here to hear this truth before the wave strikes. If you're feeling overwhelmed, know that even that is a sign. God often sends truth as a surge before it settles. He's not warning you to scare you. He's awakening you because he placed something in you that must be unlocked under divine pressure. The shaking isn't meant to break you. It's meant to break open the treasures inside you. It's meant to summon the warrior within you. You didn't survive everything just to watch. You survived because your activation was scheduled for this very emergency. Chosen one, you're not behind. You're on time. You're not forgotten. You've been hidden. You're not weak. You're being made strong for a move that requires supernatural strength. The pressure you felt lately was not punishment. It was preparation. You didn't ask for this path, but God designed you for it. And now, as everything accelerates, you're about to witness why. Everything that tried to hold you back is collapsing. Everything that mocked your belief is being silenced. And everything you felt was lost is about to be returned with divine interest. Stay alert because signs are everywhere. You'll see them in numbers, in dreams, in timing, in strange coincidences that don't feel so coincidental anymore. You'll feel the atmosphere shift when you walk into rooms. You'll sense that heaven is speaking even when no one says a word. That's because you're not in an ordinary season. You've entered the emergency zone of elevation. What looks like chaos is actually the rearranging of power. What feels like an ending is the staging of a revelation. God is moving you into position faster than ever before. The terrain is unfamiliar because the level is new. You're not being punished. You're being prioritized. This kind of shift doesn't happen to everyone, only to the chosen, only to those who were marked before time, only to those whose hearts burn with truth when the world tries to distract. You are that one. And now that your name has been whispered in the heavenlies, the world will see what God already knew. You were made for this moment. The world does not understand what you carry. It never could. That's why this moment will look like confusion to others, but clarity to you. In the coming days, the divide between those who are aligned and those who are lost will grow wider. It won't be something you cause. It will be something you observe. Because when you step into this emergency frequency, God is broadcasting. Your very presence starts to shake the false foundations around you. You didn't ask for this weight, but it has always belonged to you. You were built for more than comfort. You were forged for command. You are the signal someone else has been waiting for. The atmosphere around you is charged with meaning. Your steps are not just your own anymore. They're part of a larger orchestration. There are people you haven't met yet who will experience breakthrough just by being in your orbit. There are miracles that will arrive through your movement, and breakthroughs that will come through your obedience. That's why the shaking around you has intensified. It's not about destruction. It's about divine release. Everything that's been pressuring your life lately has been a part of this moment. That pressure wasn't meant to destroy you. It was the birth canal of destiny. When a divine emergency is declared, it's not about panic. It's about pushing through. God is pushing what's in you to the surface. That's why things have been breaking. That's why old structures no longer feel safe. He's removing what can't hold your next season. He's tearing away what was temporary so that the permanent can emerge. You weren't meant to survive just to survive. You were meant to rise. And that rise cannot be delayed any longer. You felt the discomfort. You've watched people drift away. You've been misunderstood in rooms that once embraced you. But all of this was the prelude to what's happening now. This divine alarm, this emergency is not a punishment. It's your call to the front, not to fight in the natural, but to align in the spirit, to stand where others flee, to trust what God is doing, even when you don't understand how He's doing it. There are no instructions for this level. That's why you're being guided by spirit and not sight. You've entered a phase where what's coming can't be explained. It can only be discerned. The ones who try to make sense of it using the old mindset will be left behind. But you, chosen one, were created to walk in what others can't comprehend. You're not here to explain it. You're here to embody it. And that's why God has kept you hidden until now. So that when the emergence happened, there would be no doubt who sent you. This emergency situation has nothing to do with fear. It has everything to do with timing. God's clock has struck. The heavens are now aligned in a way they haven't been in decades. And when this level of spiritual alignment occurs, it triggers rapid earthly changes. That's why the financial systems are fluctuating. That's why secrets are being revealed. That's why truth is rising and masks are falling. You are in the middle of a spiritual collision, and God placed you there on purpose. People will begin to wonder how you knew, how you prepared, how you stayed standing when others crumbled. But you'll know the truth. It was never about luck. It was about obedience. God trained you in silence so He could use you in moments of noise. He refined you in solitude so He could release you when everything began to shake. You were never late. You were never forgotten. You were being timed to perfection. And now the countdown has ended. The veil is lifting. The world is waking up. And those who can't see it will feel it. You, however, were made to see beyond the veil. That's why you've always sensed things before they happened. That's why your spirit has always been a few steps ahead of your surroundings. Because God placed you on the front lines of this era, not because of your perfection, but because of your position in the spirit. You carry something heaven wants to reveal. And now the reveal has begun. It won't look like you imagined. It won't feel like what others call success. This isn't about titles or praise. This is about divine exposure, about letting the power within you do the speaking. You'll walk into places and shift atmospheres without saying a word. You'll unlock blessings that were held up for generations. And it will happen, not because you forced it, but because you were ready when the emergency call came. This is the season of sudden shifts. You'll feel it in relationships. Some people won't understand your urgency, and that's okay. You're not meant to carry everyone with you. You're meant to obey the instruction and let God handle the connections. What's not aligned will fall away. What's meant to stay will grow stronger. The shaking is separating the weight from the wings. And you, chosen one, were always meant to fly. You may have doubted yourself. You may have questioned your calling in the quiet moments when no one else was watching. But now you're about to see why you had to endure those questions. Every answer is arriving in this hour. Every locked door is being opened. Every no is being transformed into a supernatural yes. But don't expect it to come packaged in comfort. Expect it to come wrapped in power, in urgency, in divine interruption. God is interrupting your routine to align you with your revelation. You thought you were waiting for a breakthrough, but the truth is, the breakthrough has been waiting for you. And now that you're stepping into awareness, the emergency is shifting to elevation. The systems that once rejected you will need your insight. The places that once ignored you will seek your voice. You won't need to prove anything. Your presence will confirm everything. Keep your eyes open. There will be unusual opportunities that appear suddenly. Don't ignore them. They are not random. They are keys disguised as moments. God doesn't need time to bless you. He only needs your yes. And in this season, the yes you give will carry more power than any effort you've ever made. The emergency you feel is not about destruction. It's the sound of a divine vault being opened, and what's inside was marked with your name long ago. Your life is now a doorway. When you move, others follow. When you speak, heaven echoes. When you obey, realms respond. This is not a motivational phrase. This is a spiritual reality, and you've been chosen to walk it out now. Even if your mind isn't fully sure, your spirit knows. Even if your eyes can't see it yet, your soul can feel it. You are standing on the edge of a moment that will define everything. And you are not alone. God is with you. The world may call it a crisis, but the chosen ones will know it's the emergency that brings the emergence. You've now crossed into a realm where everything is spiritually intensified. The air feels different because the instructions have changed. The former season is over, and what you were allowed to ignore before can no longer go unnoticed. You've been alerted by God, not to scare you, but to prepare you. The frequency you've now tuned into is divine. That's why old patterns are cracking. That's why your comfort zone is no longer comfortable. You're not just witnessing change, you are the change, and it's no longer in the distance, it's here. Everything around you is signaling transition. Your dreams have become more vivid, your emotions are more sensitive, your awareness is sharper because the divine emergency has accelerated your sensitivity to spiritual truth. God is speaking in surround sound now. And it's not only for your protection, it's also for your promotion. You are being escorted by divine force into the next level of your destiny, but only if you move in harmony with the urgency of the moment. This emergency situation is not like anything you've experienced before. This isn't about personal chaos or life just happening to you. This is a divine recalibration. The old system is being dismantled so that the new spiritual order can rise through you. You are the infrastructure. You are the vessel. You are the embodiment of the answer someone else has been praying for. That's why the pressure is spiritual. It's designed to birth something that can't be created in calm. God did not allow everything to fall apart just to show you how strong you were. He allowed the disruption to show you what could no longer be part of your next level. Some people had to leave. Some places had to close. Some doors had to lock. Not because you were wrong, but because the emergency activation requires less baggage. You're being lightened so you can be lifted, and those who misunderstood your pain will soon witness your power. The signs are everywhere. Technology failing, news shifting, leaders falling, hidden truth surfacing, spiritual battles intensifying. These are not coincidences. This is a scheduled collapse. The kingdom that was hidden is now revealing itself through those who are spiritually aligned. You've been called into position not to watch, but to move. Not to fear, but to respond. Not to beg, but to declare. This is your divine window, and you're ready. Even if you feel unsure, the fear that tried to grip you before won't survive this phase. You've been given spiritual immunity to the panic surrounding you. When others worry, you will know. When others flee, you will stand. When others react, you will respond in power. That's the kind of emergency you're in. One where the chosen rise while the world crumbles. And it's not because you're better. It's because you're positioned. Because God made a decision about you long before the shaking began. You might feel the weight of being awake in a world that's still asleep. But don't let that discourage you. The weight is evidence of your anointing. The burden is a clue of your responsibility. God only presses what he's about to pour. And now you're about to overflow with what he's placed inside of you for such a time as this. The waiting season is closed. The watching season is done. The warning is here. And you are the answer clothed in urgency. You'll notice things falling away rapidly. Ideas, associations, even habits. Don't fight it. Let it happen. What you're stepping into will not tolerate what once followed you. The elevation requires purification. Not because God is punishing you, but because he's protecting the treasure in you. You've carried something so rare, so sacred, that it could not be revealed until the world reached its breaking point. And now that it has, so have you. This is the divine breach point, when pressure breaks through the ordinary and releases the extraordinary. When delay finally gives way to destiny. When the spiritually alert or activated to become divine disruptors. You are being dispatched, not for chaos, but for clarity. Your presence in this moment is not random. It's strategic. It's surgical. You've been placed where you are to interrupt patterns, to speak what others are afraid to admit, and to move even when others hesitate. God is using this emergency to set the stage for exposure. Things hidden in your bloodline are being surfaced so they can be removed. Cycles that tried to follow you are being severed mid-motion. Patterns that once held you are losing power because your presence now carries a frequency of freedom. You are not bound by history. You are rewriting it in real time. And as the old collapses, your purpose rises from the rubble. There's something deeply divine about how it's all unfolding. Even your confusion was useful. Even your tears watered something unseen. God wastes nothing. Every loss had an instruction hidden in it. Every no made space for a greater yes. And now every step you take is being echoed in the spirit. You might not feel it, but the heavens are applauding because a chosen one did not give up during the silence. You endured, and now you're being crowned with understanding in a season of divine urgency. It's important that you don't wait for confirmation from people who are not qualified to see your calling. This emergency wasn't sent to the world, it was sent to you. You received the transmission because you were spiritually calibrated to detect it. You were awakened before the rest so that you could lead what's coming next. It may feel lonely, but it won't stay that way. The others, like you, are rising too, scattered, but summoned, hidden, but connected, quiet, but powerful. The chosen ones are not meant to explain themselves in this season. They're meant to move, to align, to trust the God who has never left them, to walk boldly in places others are still afraid to enter. Your confidence doesn't come from applause. It comes from knowing God sent you, from knowing that this emergency is the announcement of your emergence, from trusting that the fire you went through wasn't a curse. It was consecration. What comes next won't be perfect, but it will be powerful. You may not know the full plan, but you will feel the prompting. Follow that. Trust the flow. Move with the wind of God, not with the pace of man. Let the old dissolve. Let the illusions fall. Let the urgency of this hour birth a new rhythm in your soul. You weren't made to blend in. You were created to interrupt the ordinary with something supernatural. This isn't a message to hype you. It's a divine alert to awaken you. You are being summoned to take your place. The restlessness you feel is not anxiety, it's divine movement. The discomfort is not punishment, it's preparation. God is shifting you from delay into display. The curtain is opening, the stage is being set, the trumpet has sounded. You are not being asked to be ready. You are being told you already are. The emergency has begun. The atmosphere is charged not with fear, but with purpose. You're not being shaken just to feel unstable. You're being stirred because something that was asleep in you has now been reawakened by divine fire. The emergency isn't just in the world, it's in the spirit. It's echoing through dimensions that most can't perceive. And you, chosen one, have been given the hearing to discern what others dismiss. That ability to sense what's unsaid, to see what's invisible, to feel what's approaching before it arrives, that's not just intuition, that's activation. God has placed an alert system inside of you. Every time you felt off but couldn't explain it, it was that system sounding the alarm. It's never been random, it's always been divine. You weren't made to be comfortable when things were spiritually misaligned. You were created to shift the atmosphere just by existing in it. That's why environments have changed when you enter them. That's why you've noticed discomfort when you tried to settle in places that were never your final destination. This emergency has surfaced to call out the real you, not the one shaped by survival, not the one conditioned by past failures. The real you anchored in divine code, built by sacred design, commissioned by God's authority. There is no need to shrink back now. The false layers are being stripped away, so your original form can stand in full authority. This is not about starting something new. This is about remembering who you've always been before life told you to forget. What's rising in you is not an accident. It's not arrogance. It's ancient. It's prophetic. It's the roar of your calling finally being heard outside of your own chest. That pressure you feel is not coming to crush you. It's coming to reveal what hasn't been expressed yet. The world tried to tell you to be quiet, to stay small, to wait your turn. But the emergency has interrupted all that. The old timelines are breaking. The new ones are being forged through your faith. God didn't bring you here to ask you for permission. He brought you here to remind you of his promise, that what was hidden will be revealed, that what was silenced will now be shouted, that what was bound will now be free. And you, yes, you are the chosen vessel through which that freedom will be released. That's why this season has felt intense. That's why your sleep has been disrupted. That's why your old plans suddenly lost all appeal. The Spirit of God is moving, and you're being repositioned for supernatural release. You're not stuck, you're being rerouted. The delay you thought was denial was actually disguise. God was hiding your next move to protect it, not from you, but from forces that would have tried to sabotage it prematurely. The divine emergency had to arrive before your release could be fully unlocked. And now that it has, you'll start to notice that what once resisted you will now recognize you. You won't need to knock. Doors will start opening before you arrive. There's no blueprint for this phase. No mentor can fully explain it because What's happening to you is unprecedented. It's raw, it's holy, it's uncomfortable, and it's perfect. This is spiritual intelligence at its highest frequency. It bypasses logic. It overrides systems. It silences opinions. It answers to God alone. And you have been selected to walk in this current because you were never designed to blend with the past. You were created to birth the future. This future is arriving fast. It's being pulled into the present by your agreement with God's urgency. Each time you say yes in the Spirit, you collapse time. Each time you surrender the illusion of control, divine order accelerates. That's why things are moving quickly. Why? What used to take months now unfolds in hours. This is divine compression. The emergency has pushed everything into motion. The only thing left is your willingness to move with it. And if it feels too big, too fast, too intense, remember, God didn't call the qualified. He qualified the call. And you, chosen one, are deeply qualified by what you've endured. Every quiet night, every misunderstood moment, every tear shed in secret, every victory that no one clapped for, it all qualified you for this spiritual velocity. You are not an imposter in this moment. You are the answer it was waiting for. So don't expect validation from those who've never walked this frequency. This isn't for spectators. This isn't for doubters. This isn't for the ones who need proof before they believe. This is for the ones who carry evidence in their spirit. This is for the ones who know what time it is without looking at a clock. You don't need a sign to believe. You are the sign. You don't need confirmation to move. You are the confirmation. That's why this emergency came wrapped in silence before it came wrapped in sound. God needed your spirit to hear it before the world saw it. He needed you aligned privately before he released you publicly, because the magnitude of your release will not be explainable. It won't make sense to the logical mind. It will only make sense to those who understand divine disruption. And now everything is being disrupted. What you thought was a setback will turn out to be the exact moment God used to launch you. What you feared would break you will become the very proof that nothing can hold you. What looked like a detour will be remembered as a spiritual shortcut. Because when God moves in an emergency, he doesn't waste time. He doesn't wait for consensus. He doesn't delay the moment. He ignites it. And right now, in this very moment, something is igniting in you. A sacred remembrance, a divine urgency, a soul-level instruction that says, this is the moment I was made for. You might not have the full picture, but you have the presence. You have the awareness. You have the knowing. And that's enough. The next step doesn't require perfection. It only requires alignment. So walk with your head high. Move with divine boldness. Speak only when instructed. Stay silent when the Spirit says so. Watch what falls away. Watch what reveals itself. Watch what races toward you. You don't need to make noise to make impact. The emergency has already announced you. Heaven already approved you. The shift has already begun. What happens next is not your burden. It's your alignment. Your yes, your trust. You've already been positioned. And the evidence will follow you. The divine flow has already been activated. And now you're not just waiting on something. You've stepped into it. It's no longer a future promise. It's a present shift. The emergency was never to bring you fear. It was to awaken the frequency that had been muffled by the noise of the world. Now that you're tuned in, you can feel it in your bones. Everything has changed. The old systems are failing. The old language is crumbling. The illusion is unraveling, and through it all, your calling is getting louder. The silence you walked through trained your ears. That's why you're hearing what others can't. You're feeling what others ignore. God has refined you in secret so that you could be trusted in public, not with status, but with spiritual responsibility. The emergency wasn't sent to embarrass you. It was sent to reveal that everything inside you is real. It was sent to confirm that the fire you carried all along was never a false alarm. It was the very flame needed for this hour. You are now entering days where the spiritual and physical will collide in full view. What you carry will begin to manifest in visible ways. People won't understand how quickly things are unfolding for you. They will assume you've skipped steps. But the truth is, you endured steps they never saw. You walked through spiritual corridors while the world slept. You answered to divine timing while others chased applause. And now the unveiling has begun. The chosen are emerging in the middle of the emergency. The acceleration you're about to experience is not meant to overwhelm you. It's designed to complete you. Everything is happening quickly because it was already delayed. Heaven has issued a release order over your name, and the divine delivery has started. It may not look like what you expected, but it will feel like what you prayed for. Not an outer packaging, but an inner peace. You'll recognize it not by how it looks, but by how your spirit responds when it arrives. And here's the truth. Not everyone will be able to walk with you through this next level. Some connections will fade. Some familiar voices will go quiet. Don't chase what's not meant to remain. God is protecting your clarity.